Welcome back. After the Federal Reserve Chairman and the big decision from the Fed to keep interest rates unchanged on Wednesday, the 30-year Treasury bond yield jumped to its highest level since the summer of 2007, just before a big recession, jumping 10.5 basis points to just over 5.2% on the 30-year Treasury. And that's making a lot of people very nervous. So we wanted to bring in our friend Steve Moore. He's advised the president on the economy as a senior fellow at the America First Policy Institute. Steve, good to see you. Explain this to us. Explain the nerves and what do you make of this?
Well, why is this important? One answer to that question is, Rob, who's the biggest debtor in the world?
We are.
Biggest borrower, the United States government. Mm-hmm. We have $37 trillion of debt. Yeah. So every time that interest rate on the debt goes up, Rob, it's simple math that we have to pay more and more money out of our tax dollars just to go for this money we've already spent. So it's a vicious cycle. I don't like to see those interest rates going up. Nobody does. I do have high degree of confidence in our new Fed chairman, Kevin Warsh. I think he's outstanding. I think the best way, there's two things we need to do to bring this debt down and bring the interest rates down. Number one is we have to get inflation back down to the 2% target, and Kevin Warsh is completely committed to doing that, and I think he'll do that in a matter of a few months. Remember, we had an inflation rate as high as 9%, remember, under Biden.
Right.
But the other thing we have to do is, it's an old-fashioned idea, let's cut some government spending.
We're not doing that, though, are we?
Why are you spending $7-8 trillion a year? Yeah. We know that at least $1 trillion of that is being stolen through fraud, and yet even the Republicans don't do much about it.
No, we're not cutting any spending. We're still just we're jacking it right through the same kind of spending we saw during COVID. Nothing has been changed in that regard, which is very disappointing after all that excitement over Doge. I don't know how you change Washington away from this addiction to spending money, but neither party has any interest in it.
Well, I've been doing this for a long time, 40 years. I've been a budget analyst in Washington, and it is a bipartisan disease. The Democrats are worse than the Republicans, but sometimes there's not a dime's worth of difference. Right. And I think that's why we need to, as citizens, really rise up and revolt against the out of control spending. As I said, wouldn't you start, if you were a private company, you would start by getting rid of the waste and the fraud and the stealing. And, this is criminal activity that's going on in Washington. Democrats want to do nothing about that. They don't even want to go after the fraud.
Do you think that do you still feel as though that there's some kind of correction coming in this market, this very inflated market?
That's such a hard question because,
tough, isn't it?
We have so many good things going on in this economy right now. We've got a president. I mean, our economy is still, despite our problems, we're still the envy of the world. Yeah. Every other country would love to have an economy and a stock market like ours. So, it makes me nervous. It keeps me up at night. But we've got a lot of other really good things going on in America.
Wanted to just point out, I got 20 seconds left, but you made it in Tony Fauci's diary, by the way. He said that they needed to shut you up or the entire academic community will dump all over POTUS if they didn't shut you up when you were assisting the president during COVID. What's your 10-second reaction to that?
Well, it ends up I didn't shut up. He did.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Steve Moore, good to see you. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt Tonight on Newsmax.